everyone, and welcome back to Lucky Loaders 15, where I'll be giving you 4 of my strongest tips for tomorrow's racing. Now, before we get stuck into that, quickly just want to go through a couple of things with you. Now, first of all, if you haven't done so already, make sure you check out the latest episode of the In the Saddle podcast, where Paul Callaghan interviewed US racing trainer Keri Brion, who's a US jumps trainer over in the States, but she's come over to Ireland over the last couple of months. She's doing quite well, to be fair to her, and she's trying to be the first US trainer to train a winner in Ireland over jumps, and she's had a couple of close calls. She's got a couple of nice horses, the likes of Winston C, French Light. It was great dropping in the conversation, because I was editing and producing that podcast, and yeah, I really recommend it to give it a listen. So if you want to, there'll be links to it in the description box below. Got all the major podcast platforms covered, including the likes of Apple, SoundCloud, Spotify, whichever one takes your fancy. Just make sure you hit one of those links in the description box below. So that's that out of the way. Also as well, quickly just want to reflect on how our tips performed today. In the end, we would have broken even with the advertised stakes, as we did have a winning nap. That was at Warwick in the feature race there, the listed mares chase. We put up Annie Mac at 2-1 last night, and in the end she was a very worthy winner for John Joe O'Neill Jr. riding for his dad in the colours of the Coral Racing Group. Now, I've been beating the drum really over the last few weeks or so that I think Annie Mac is a really big price for the mare's chase, and I think she still is a big price. She's still, I think, best odds out there I've seen 12-1. She has been clipped with some firms to 8, but I still think the markets are really disrespecting her, and I think this race is going to really cut up. She's probably the best chaser in the mares division anyway on this side of the Irish Sea. Dan de Company obviously is a really nice prospect for Nicky Henderson, but that mare Dan de Company has only run once, and that was at Ayr, where she beat Cornerstone Lange. And even though she did it very well when her jumping did get better as she went along, there's a few doubts in the back of Nicky Henderson's mind. I know that they're looking at other options for her, and she might not head here. So she's by no means a certainty, and she probably needs a little bit more experience under her belt. But obviously she's a very exciting recruit to fences. But yeah, don't get totally carried away just yet by Damned Company. But yeah, as the rest, you've got Ellie May. That's probably the biggest threat to Annie Mac. Benny Desure, I think she's going to go for the mare's hurdle. You've got Honeysuckle in the market as well. Cole Reevy as well, she might not head here. She would have to give away £5 as well with the Grade 1 penalty. I think the target could be the Grade 2 mares chase at Limerick in March. So yeah, this race I think is going to really cut up. And Annie Mac, I think a lot of people are still underestimating her, even though she won today, beating 2 nice mares. She beat Zambella really easily, who before today had been undefeated over fences. And also as well, she beat Happy Diva, who's no mug. So yeah, a lot to like about Annie Mac, and I'm still really keen on her chances for the Chelmsford Festival. And I'm tempted to go in again, even at 12-1. I think that's still a ridiculous price, and I think she should be 4-1 on the day, no bigger than 5-1 in my opinion. But yeah, that's just my opinion. I know you guys disagree. A lot of you obviously will have your own opinions, but yeah, I'm still really sweet on Annie Mac, and I couldn't be more confident about probably Cheltenham Festival selection at this stage. I really do like the chances of Annie Mac. So yeah, that's my love for Annie Mac out of the way. The other selections were disappointing today. Our selection at Lingfield never really got into it at all. She went off from the front in the high clear, thoroughbred colours, and in the end I just don't think the race suited her at all. Morning Spirit travelled really well for a long way. I was hoping he was going to give John Joe O'Neill Jr. a treble on the day. They had a 40-1 winner earlier on the card, but to be fair, he ran well and just got tired in the closing stages. So yeah, not a bad day on the whole, but yeah, it could have been slightly better. But yeah, we'll go again tomorrow, and like I said, I've got 4 tips for the racing up and down the country tomorrow, and also as well we have one over the Irish Sea. Now I should say a couple of my tips might become non-runners, because they are going to be holding some inspections in the morning at Down Royal and at Wincanton, so you might want to skip those tips. But yeah, like I said, fingers crossed, hopefully they do get the green light and we get a full house of racing tomorrow. So let's get into it then. The 4 tips for tomorrow's racing, and if I can actually find my notes, we'll get going. So yeah, we're going to be starting with my long shot tomorrow in the 210, the feature race at Wincanton, the Class 3 handicap. And I thought Springfield Fox here could bounce back to winning ways. And now he's going to be my long shot of the day. You can currently back him at 15-2 with bookmakers. I'm going to recommend a 0.5 each way selection. 4 places are on offer with most firms, and the price of 15 to 2 is available with Skybet, Betfair, and also as well Paddy Power at the time recording. And this horse is trained by Tom George, and Johnny Burke is going to be getting back on this time. Now, Springfield Fox, I really did fancy him for the Welsh National last time, but to be fair, he did run a bit of a stinker in that race, and obviously he is going to have to bounce back from that. But I just don't think he quite got his own way that day. I think because there were so many front runners in it, you know, it just didn't suit him, and he wasn't able to get his own way up in front. And I just think he sulked after a couple of fences. You knew really the writing was on the wall, but I think he might just get a bit more of an easier lead tomorrow. And he's been dropped £4 by the handicapper for that effort. He's now down to a mark of 138, which I still think's well within his capabilities on his day. He was really impressive last year in heavy ground. He won at Exeter, he won at Chepstow, you know, beating some nice horses there. And I still think he's got a bit more ability left in his locker, and I'm hoping he can put that run in the Welsh National behind him. I think at 15 to 2 with 4 places, that's a really good each way bet. We had a nice stay-in win at Wincanton. Remember last month when we put up Dawson City's my nap at 20 to 1. You're going to really need to stay well tomorrow, and we know Springfield Fox can stay really well. And for me, I'm going to take a chance there as my long shot of the day. That's going to be Springfield Fox in the 2 to 10 at Wincanton. We then go over the RSC for what is going to be my next best, and I've been putting up this horse the last couple of times, but unfortunately for various reasons he's been a non-runner. Last time mostly because the meeting was cancelled at Dam Royal. They're actually rearranging it tomorrow, but yeah, it's going to be in the 405 at Dam Royal, and that's Envoi Pierji. Currently you can back this horse at 7 to 2, and I'm going to recommend a 1-point win bet here for Mark Walsh and Liz Doyle in the colours of JP McManus. Now I think off a mark of 109, this horse is very well handicapped on some of his form, and last time he ran an absolute blinder in the Ladies National, running on really strongly over a trip that really looked too short for him that day. That was over 2.5 miles in really testing conditions, and the step up tomorrow to 3 miles I think will really suit this horse, you know. And the race last time he ran in when Aidan O'Connor was aboard was a good race for the grade, and the form hasn't worked out too badly from that run. I just think there's a lot to like about the chances of Envoi Pierji tomorrow. I've made his case many times before, obviously, and then he's become a non-runner. He could easily go and become a non-runner tomorrow if they don't get the green light at Dam Royal, but for me, I think there's lots in his favour, and for me, that's why he's going to be my next best of the day. We then go to the 4:30 at Southwell on the fibre stand for my nap of the day, with a horse called Lord Oberon for Pierre-Louis Germain, claiming 3, riding for Carl Burke. You can currently back this horse at 5 to 2 at the time recording, and I'm going to recommend a 1-point win bet. Now this horse has really dropped down the ratings over the last year or so. If you actually go back through his form, when he started on his first start last year, he was starting off a mark of 94. He's now down to a mark of 73. He really has been given a chance now by the handicapper, and he's going to be running in a really low grade of race tomorrow. He's going to be running in an apprentice handicap, and there's quite a lot of horses in here that have got question marks over them. So is Lord Oberon, to be fair. But going back to the 5 stand shouldn't be a bad move. He's won on both his starts on the surface, over 7 and 6 furlongs, so that's no problem there. Also as well, Carl Burke stable coming into a little bit of form now. They're not going too badly, and it's normally their fancied horses that have been turning up, and they do really well at Southwell as a whole. If you analysed Carl Burke's stable form at the track over the last 3 seasons, if you backed them blind to £1 stake every single year, you would have been up in profit quite nicely. You would have been, like I said, up quite nicely last year. But if you look at his strike rate, in 2020 he was 21% with all his runners at the course. In 2019 he was 20% with all his runners at the course. And in 2018 he was 24% with all his runners at the course. So it's really a track he likes to target, and he'll probably miss a 5% when he's gone. But this Lord Oberon now, he's been given a real chance by the handicapper, and I just think after a little bit of a break in this kind of calibre race, I think he's got a massive chance, and he just brings a massive class angle, and hopefully coming back on the 5% might just rejuvenate him. So Lord Oberon for me, I think he's got a great chance tomorrow to get his head back in front, and that's why he's going to be my nap of the day. We then go with an extra tip which runs in the 7 o'clock at Chelmsford at the Essex venue there. I'm going to have to put up Globe Theatre here for Tom Quealy and David Evans. At the time recording, it's generally available with most firms at 5 to 2. I'm going to recommend a 0.5 win-only bet on this horse. He's now off a mark of 55, which is actually the same mark he ran at last time at Lingfield when he finished in 3rd. That wasn't a bad race for the grade. The form has been boosted to somewhat of an extent. There's been quite a few placed efforts from that race, so I don't think it was a bad race at all from the grade. But if you actually look at this horse's profile, he's got a fascinating one. His dam is actually an Oaks winner. His dam is called Was for Aidan O'Brien, that won the Oaks back in 2012 by Warfront, and you wouldn't have thought that this horse would be running off the mark a few years later, off the mark of 55 at Chelmsford. He's obviously had his issues, but he's had a wind up, and it's going to be second run after a wind up last time, and it seemed to work to really good effect. Also as well, they're going to be reapplying the tongue tie, and he's going to be having a first time visor tomorrow, and that just might put him spot on for this. He's got a good draw as well. I expect him to be handy under Tom Queally, who's been doing quite well with David Evans. Both have been amongst the winners of late. I just think there's a lot to like about this horse's chances tomorrow, and I expect a good run for our money. I think he'll go very close and probably will take all the beating in the race. So that's going to be my extra tip of the day. That's Globe Theatre in the 7 o'clock at Chelmsford. So quickly then, let's recap on the tips for tomorrow. In the 210 at Wincanton, Springfield Fox is the long shot of the day. 15 to 2, 0.5 each way, 4 places. Skybet, Paddy, Power, and Betfair. The next best of the day is across the RSC in the 405 at Down Royal with Envoi, Pierji, 7 to 2, 1 point win only bet. The nap of the day runs in the 430 at Southwell. That's Lord Oberon, 5 to 2, 1 point win only bet. And then 7 o'clock at Chelmsford, we go with Globe Theatre, 0.5, win only bet at 5 to 2. So they're the 4 tips for tomorrow's racing. If you're enjoying these videos, please remember to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe here to my YouTube channel at Lucky Loaders 15. If you want to follow me on Twitter, the best place to do so is there. And you can follow me on my handle, which is at Lucky Loader 15. And if you want to know a little bit more about myself, my website address is www.chrisloaderracing.co.uk. So please gamble responsibly. Hopefully we can have some winners tomorrow, and we'll be seeing you soon.